What's up, guys? Today we got a really tough question from our buddy Mike, who's been married to a woman for 5 years. They have a 4-year-old daughter. And from his perspective, it's very important to point that out because there are always multiple perspectives. From his perspective, she's not working very hard on trying to keep the relationship going because every time he tries to approach her with the things that he'd like to work on with her, her communication shuts down. She goes into the bedroom, turns on the TV, basically ignores him, turns a cold shoulder. They have separate friends. He works 70 hours a week to take care of the daughter and the wife. And he comes home and he says that the house is never clean. She doesn't tend to take care of the child the way a mother should take care of the child. And he's at a loss. He's like, look, I want to make this thing work out. We have a daughter, but man, she's not giving. She's not helping these circumstances, and she doesn't even want to talk to me about it. What do I do? The story goes on, and he says, well, I bumped into an old friend, an old female friend. In fact, I dated her in high school. And at first they began talking. Of course, when you are not in a happy relationship and you meet usually someone of the opposite sex and you start talking about what you're unhappy about in your relationship with that person, the dynamics of the triad, the threesome, starts getting really weird. And by divulging the circumstances that he's unhappy with upon this new woman, they now started growing in their warm feelings for one another. And they were very tiptoeish at first because they know it's wrong. You don't fuck other women when you're married and have children. But hey, nature took its course and they had sex. Now, they both afterwards felt guilty about it and they said, we can't do this. And she says to him, you better figure out your marriage thing because look, if we're going to be together, you got to get rid of her. And it's not right. And they decided not to have sex anymore. She says, it's not right. I'm not going to have sex with you while you're with this woman. Now you've got to make a choice. Now Mike is trying to figure out whether or not he should. He says, should I work things out with my wife and pray that things get better, right? Of course he made a mistake. Hey, look, we all make mistakes. Nothing wrong with a mistake. Patch it up, move along, right? It says, or tell her how unhappy I am in the relationship and ask for a divorce. Meaning he's going to say, look, that's it. I'm done with you. I'm gone. Or third, tell her I've cheated. And hope she forgives me, which she probably won't. Get a divorce and lose my child in the process. Okay, very first thing I want to share with you that I've said in many videos is you're not going to win. You are going to be a sacrifice. You will be the sacrificial lamb. You're going to have pain, regardless of what you choose. So gear up for that, my friend. Where you are right now is a circumstance that is, there's no way out of this. Just get that into your head. I think that needs to be shared very early on with many of us in our circumstances, is that there's no back door. There's no sneaking around this. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no path around the pain. You will have pain. Receive that for all it's worth. Whatever choice you make, there's going to be sacrifice. You cannot win. Beautiful thing about that is that successful people don't make the right choices because neither of them are right. They're all right and they're all wrong. But they make their choices right. So it's all about the stories you tell yourself. Be okay with that. Now, I'll share some insight and some invitations with you. Number one, your dealings with this other woman. I want to get that out of the way. Take heed. This is one of my warnings to all of you. Never share. Very rarely does Elliott say never. When I say never, it's because I know this one. Never share the intimate details of your relationship, especially if it's in a negative fashion, with another woman. Never. No matter how bad things are going on with you and your wife, and you need to deal with that, we'll come to that in a moment, don't share it with another woman. Because what you've done now is you've taken the energy that you should be investing in with the partner that you've chose to train with. Marriage is a training. Write that one down. Make a meme. Marriage is a training. Marriage isn't a beautiful union. That's bullshit. The churches have lied to us. The world have lied to us. Disney lied to us. Marriage is a training. It's a training. It's a training like you go to the gym to build something up in you. Never take your circumstances that should be invested, never take the energy that should be invested in the circumstances of your training and give it to anyone else. Spilling that out is it ruins the dynamics. And then now you have not only this, because now here's the deal, you're opening up a can of worms, an energetic can of worms, because now you've divulged the circumstances of your energy between you and that person you've chosen to train in your life with another energetic source, another human being. And all the emotions, thoughts, feelings, sex that will ultimately come out of that can of worms, now you gotta deal with that shit too. So you got 2 women, no, you got 3 women, because you got a daughter too. And a daughter without her daddy is always a problem. You got 3 women, and women, bro. One problem, someone once told me that Richard Branson, who's one of the world's greatest entrepreneurs, says that you have no problems in life except for your health. And a friend told me that. He said he had a meeting with him and he told him that. And I said, okay, yeah, cool. And then I said, except for women. You don't want woman problems. You don't want problems with the feminine. That's one problem you do not want to deal with, because it's so deep-seated and the roots of it delve deep into our hearts and our sexualities and our psyche. You don't want woman problems. And you got 3 women and you got 3 big problems. Hey, you gotta laugh about it. Don't bring another woman in, bro. Ugh. They're problems. And not to say that this is a negative statement about women. It's like, that's a lot. Women are a lot to deal with. It's not as easy as just having sex and smiling. So the very first invitation I'm going to make to you, man, is do not take any action with your wife with this one still in the picture. You've got to cut off from her. Even if you decide to leave your wife, it has more to do with your commitment to life training and what you may have chosen for yourself about yourself and your situation with her and your daughter. In absence of this can of worms, you don't need the extra can of worms. Get rid of her. Even if at some point you find another woman, don't let her interfere with what's going on over here. This is the first one. Get rid of her. Don't leave this one because you're in love with that one. And don't leave this one because that one's making you. Because you're gonna take the shit and you're gonna redevelop in this one. She was a part of the shit. You understand? You gotta get rid of the extra woman. It's not to say that you shouldn't leave this one. It's not to say that you shouldn't have another woman. I know I'm repeating myself, but not that one. Okay? Very rarely did I put my foot down, but I'm doing that a lot here today because, these are tangible circumstances. Get rid of her, first and foremost. So that now you can bring back 100% of your focus and concentration and go to where your problem is. And hey, the world is your mirror. The people in your world are your mirror, and she's showing you some shit about yourself that you're not willing to look at. I'm not saying you need to work out the marriage because I think marriages are supposed to last, right? Because Jesus says so. I don't give a fuck. Divorce, right? I happen to be married and things seem to work out well, but I'm never gonna go out there and say, marriages need to stay together. It's the union of man and woman, it should not be separated. That which God brings together shall not be separated. Fuck that. We still have to live on this plane, on this planet, in this world, and sometimes decisions need to be made. Okay? But if you leave her without dealing with the demons that are going on first in you, I always say that, look at yourself first, then you're going to repeat this drama again. And that's why it's a training. Marriage is a training. And if you fail in this training without fully observing, exploring the reasons for its failure in you, not her. Always come to yourself first. Why is she showing up like this? And how might I present myself? How might I be to have her be different? Not how can I change her? How am I being to receive this? Then you're gonna go and you're gonna do the same shit with another woman and another woman, another woman, another woman, another woman. Right? And your daughter is gonna carry that shit with her too. She's gonna see what's going on with you two. She's gonna see the type of man you are, and she's gonna go find a man just like you too. And she's gonna have divorces. You know? The separation of so many marriages is an energetic issue. It has to do with our lack of willing to take responsibility for ourselves and our actions, and responsibility for the way the world shows up. Your world is your mirror. If you don't like what you see in the mirror, it's your fucking fault. And she is your closest mirror. She's the mirror you gotta face every fucking day. In fact, you put yourself into that mirror and you made a third mirror. Look at your kids. Look at your daughter. That's a mirror too. So I would say, in all selfishness, because I am selfish, I'm very selfish. It's all about me and how I can get stronger. That's really what my life is about. Me first. Me, 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 me. I'm not gonna walk away from a marriage knowing that there's weaknesses in me that's not allowing me to become a stronger version of myself. I fucked up. I gotta figure out what's going on here inside me that's making this happen. Okay? Take your eyes off of her. Now, one of the things you mentioned here is asking for a divorce. Okay, hey, check out. That's like leaving the tornado instead of going into the eye of it where you can manage it. Sometimes you gotta check out. Maybe you fucked up so bad that you gotta check out and you gotta start all over again. You say third, tell her I cheated on her and hope she forgives me, but she probably won't. Hey, I tell you what, tell her you cheated on her. Tell her you cheated on her. Because being real is the very first approach, is the very first step to getting this whole thing worked out with yourself. Be real with yourself. It's the very first thing I always offer. Be honest with yourself. That's it. No judgment. I don't make any judgments. Let's just be fucking real for a moment. Be real with yourself, and you gotta be real with her, because it ain't gonna work out if you ain't real with her. So whatever happens when you say you cheated on her, whatever sentiment that proceeds from, she's going to receive, and you're gonna see a mirror of what you actually are. And if however she responds, know that, hey, you gave it to her, you did that. But you gotta tell her, honesty is just really, honesty goes so far beyond just being honest with that other person. What honesty does is it liberates you from the holding of that pain. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't get another pain. She might punch you in your eye. She might kick you in your nuts and say, I'm out of here. You might have to deal with losing your daughter, but I said you weren't gonna win, and you ain't gonna win, so that might be one that you lose. But you gotta be honest. Just an invitation. And that's it, man. There is no answer. There's no right answer here. Know that you've gotten yourself into a pickle. Made your bed and now sleep in it. It's going to be fucked up. Prepare for the fucked upness. But also know that the pain, the failure, the darkness, the fucked upness that you've attracted to yourself is a training. All of these things are a training. Now, how are you going to evolve? How are you going to grow stronger to lift this weight? Is really the question. At the end of this whole circumstance, how are you going to go stronger? And that's it. Get rid of that other bitch. Done.